Well, I'll say as long as you want.
How long do you usually speak for?
I can speak in 2 minutes or 2 hours.
Let's do about 40 and then you can pay for your people.
So I'll just do that to spirit leads, eh? So
yeah, it's the spirit leads, mate. That's the best way.
I pray that the Lord will, direct me and give me the right word to say. And Isaiah 47 is right in the middle of my story. So I want to emphasise on that. I feel like the Lord wants to emphasise on that bit. My story is about the grace of God, the love of God, just being poured out on me when I was in total despair. Everyone's life, God's got is mapped out, and God knew every step of the way where I'd end up. I'd be standing here today, where it come from, what the moment I called upon him. He knew every single, you could see it while he was on the cross. He saw every moment. So all our lives are mapped out. And, I was bewitched. I had a curse on me. And I want to, I'm saying this now at the beginning so that you'll get the gist of it when I'm going through the reality of what happened. By the grace of God, when I called on him, he was there. So basically it started for me when, as a kid, 7-year-old kid, mum and dad were splitting up, going through a divorce. In my little childhood naivety, I remember praying to God, all confused, saying, "Lord, why?" And then one of my school teachers started to take a Bible class in his dinner time, so I started going to it. And I believed in the stories in the Bible. He told me everything. I actually became a Christian when I was 7 in my own doing. I didn't understand it, but I was praying to the Lord. Because I never had my mum or my dad, and I just felt so insecure. And God, at that moment, was just sort of guiding me. And school teacher told me about the Lord. But what happened when mum and dad separated and got divorced? I got angry with God, and I turned my back on him. And I said, "Lord, forgive me. I'm sorry. I don't want to pray to you no more. But I promise you, I'll come back one day." I never did. So when I look back on my life, my dad got custody of me and my sister, and it was unheard of for a mother to lose her kids. But my mum had a nervous breakdown, so she ended up in the psychiatric ward and under treatment and everything. So she couldn't cope with us. So my dad got custody. So every time, my mum would tell me one thing, my dad would tell me another. So I wouldn't listen to either. So I developed a strong will of my own as a kid. So when my dad found me doing stuff wrong, he'd get the belt out and he'd whip me. And the old days, it was good for that type of discipline. Don't allow it these days. So I was disciplined by my dad, but what that done, that made me rebel and made me angry toward my dad. So he used to go to weightlifting club, so I started to go to the weightlifting club. And I wanted to, when I was 13, and I determined to get stronger than my dad. But by the time I was 15, I was stronger than my dad. But I recognised I had a talent in lifting weights. So I started to really put all my energy and effort into lifting weights. And then I used to go to various places around Liverpool in the gyms, and I was lifting more than all the gangsters who was working on the nightclubs in the door. And I was only 16, 17. And I was lifting more than them. So I started to compete in powerlifting, and I was going to become world champion. And I was on that path. And then all of a sudden I went to London. I'd met a girl. I was very insecure. I'd met Natasha's mum when I was 17. and I left my dad and my stepmother, and I went to stay with Tasha's mum. Her mum got pregnant, Tasha was born, and I was 21. How old do you know, Tash?
87.
87. So, me and the mum, I went to London to work because there was no work around Liverpool in the winter time, so I had to go and provide for her now we had a kid. So I went to London to work, and I used to do landscaping with my dad in the summer, and in the winter I used to go to London scaffolding. And in the end, me and the mum split up, and I stayed in London, and the mum wouldn't let me see her unless I come home every week. And I couldn't get home every week. It was impossible for me to get home every week, and I had nowhere to live in Liverpool. And my life, I was a very, very insecure person because I had no one. I had, never had love for my mum or my dad. I split up in Tasha's mum, and I just put all my security into work and earning money, and I was scaffolding in London. And in the end, there was a girl. I went out with a girl down there whose dad was a vicar, and I met her dad, and they were lovely people, and I thought nothing of it. But then she went to Bristol to study, and then I was working in London, and it all my job. A recession come in 1990, early 90s, about 1990 I think it was, and I was forced to come back to Liverpool. I was literally forced to come back, and I felt like I'd lost everything. I could have been a world champion powerlifter. I'd lost the relationship I was with Tasha's mum. I'd let all that go. I wasn't with the girl I'd met in London. I'd come back to Liverpool and I had absolutely nothing. And at this point I was 24, 25. So I was homeless. I slept on my cousin's couch and then my auntie's couch. I was going from couch to couch. And then I found myself, there was lads in the gyms who had made names for themselves, and I found myself knocking around with these lads again. And because I'd left everything to go to London, and I come back to have nothing, and all these lads who I knew from years ago had all made names for themselves. I just had a desire to want to have a name for myself again, because I'd dropped everything. So I started training in the gyms again, and I started knocking around with these guys. And I got involved in going to parties, working on the doors, just living for women, parties, women, training in the gym. That was my lifestyle. I had a compensation claim going on where I said to the council I'd fallen over my auntie's wall, which was broken, but I'd actually dislocated my collarbone wrestling. I used to do wrestling as well, powerlifting and wrestling. And basically, I got a decent compensation claim. I was on £600 a week back then, so I was claiming loss of earnings in London. So I had this compensation claim going on while I was waiting on the doors. It was all a lie. And but that was my security. That was what, and I thought to myself, what have I been missing out on? This lifestyle was amazing. Partying, women, going to the gym, everything I loved. And I felt really secure and happy. I got weighed in from another compensation claim. I bought a house on the dole. I don't know how I've done it, but I bought a house on the dole. My whole life was a mess. I was deceiving my way in every way possible. So one day, it went on for about 18 months, no trouble, it was great, and all of a sudden, one of my mates, we were associated with a gang in Kirby, and they were a black gang, and they were all associated to the toxic lads. So my circle of friends in our gang were all mainly black people, but along with a lot of whites as well. But the main core, I was involved with the black gangs, and basically one day one of my mates got attacked. About 10 fellas come in the pub. He was the pub was empty, he was waiting on the door. We come in, one of them come in the back, there's no there with the hammer, and he went down the floor and he got up off the floor, and he surrounded them and he tried to kill him with machetes and baseball bats, but he managed to get up. He's a wrestler, he picked one of them up, and the balaclava of one of them came up to here and he seen who it was, and then he managed to escape. Sorry?
That in Kirby, that?
That was in Kirby. Yeah, so he escaped that attack. We had a big hole in his head, and we went to Spain. I wasn't there that night. I went to see him. It's funny, I went to see him every Thursday night, but that night I wasn't there. I was meant to not be there. It was crazy. Yeah. And the next day I spoke to him and he told me what happened, and he said, we need to go to Spain, get away. I can't do nothing here now with this. Got a terrible injury in his head. So we went to Spain. We had a friend in Spain, Mobber, who was a drug dealer, and we went over there, and he paid for everything, and we were over there with this guy, and we started to think about how we were going to take revenge on these people who attacked him. And this guy was like a big brother to me. He was 2 years older than me at the time, and his brother, who was 1 year older than him, had died not long before. And funny enough, his dad had died. So he'd gone to jail over an incident, and he realised he was his mates were in Kirby. And when I come on the scene, I was his old mate from years before. He realised who his mates were, and I was more of a mate. So when people were coming against me in Kirby, because they thought, who do you think he's coming on the scene here with all us, you think? Loads of people were coming against me, so he was defending me. So I felt he's like a big brother to me. He's, he's dead loyal to me and watching over me. And we were all like gang together. And he was really looking after me. And the people who were associated, we were all one big. I was working for a fellow called Eric Graham in Toxteth. And basically, we're in Spain. And our other friend, his name's Stephen Cole, is a black guy, said to my mate, you get off to Spain, I'll sort them out. So basically, they came after him, but he set them up. As they came after him, he pulled the gun out and he shot one of them in the head. So amazingly, he survived. The bullet didn't go in his head, it went through his mouth and out through the side of his neck. Missed his jugular vein, but broke all his jaw. And so our mate Stephen Cole went on the run round Liverpool, and he got disposed of the gun, and then they all ran off with the weapons, and the ambulance come with the other guy, and he was all over the radio looking for Stephen Cole. We were in Spain, so we started to rejoice that one of his attackers had been attacked. Now we need to take revenge on the other three. We knew who the other attackers were. So we made a plan. We started to make a plan. That night we said, we're not going to go out partying that night, we'll stay in, because this is getting serious. So I started to make a plan myself. How are we going to do this? How are we going to take revenge? We're going to have to kill them. If we don't kill them, they're going to kill us. So I'm making this plan how to take revenge. And all of a sudden, I could feel a presence in the room that I'm in, like a spiritual presence. And I don't know what it was, but it was like someone was tapping on the wall in line with my thoughts. And every time I thought about an evil deed, tap, tap. And whether it was going on in my mind or it was really happening, I don't know to this day. But that's what was happening. So I then got a little bit paranoid. And I jumped up and I ran into my mate's room and I said, there's a ghost in there. I'm not going in there. There's a ghost in there. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, I said, there's someone in there. And the next minute, out the blue, the three other people ran in and said, what's going on? All the curtains in the bedroom was blowing. Big wind, and the wind came into the room and curtains were blowing. Like all the curtains were blowing. And we all went, oh, this is terrifying. And we said, put the lights on, because they don't like the light. Ghosts don't like the light. Right, so, because it was dark. So we went to put the light on, the lecky blue. Can you imagine? The lecky blue? So we all terrified, so we all went downstairs and we all like trembling, what's going on here? And next minute, it was a big like hurricane, went right round the house, circled the house. A big gust of wind, like a hurricane, and it disappeared into the mist, gone. I was like, wow, and then me and my mate, Tilly, said, I think that's my brother and my dad who's died. Back in the grave. What?
Did you say Tilly then?
Yeah, do you know him?
Yeah.
So he knows me mate Tilly. How do you know Tilly?
My dad knows him very well.
What?
My dad knows him.
He's a wrestler, isn't he?
Yeah. My father was a mechanic for the Northern Council on the Kirby there.
Right.
27 years he did for them, my dad.
Right. Well, Tilly's in Wigan today, wrestling.
Is he really?
Yeah.
The
He worked.
The dad Chile?
What?
The dad Chile, the old one?
You got young Chile, the dad Chile's my age, or 2 years older than me. But his dad is Ronaldo. He had a brother called Ronaldo, and he had a dad called Ronaldo. They both died.
My dad's like 65, and my son is like similar age to my dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, small world, eh?
Yeah, big time.
So, right.
I'm a win, mate, from Kirby.
What?
I'm a win from Kirby.
Oh, are you? Peter Wynn. You know Peter Wynn?
Yeah,
No,
mate.
well, say no more, because it's right in the heart of the story. Yes, it really is. So, I can emphasise a bit on that bit, if you want.
And Darren, I'm sorry to interrupt, but somebody said the other week he was a gangster, looked like a gangster, so we know it's true now. We know his background is a gangster.
No.
Well, Stephen Cole, who chopped the guy in the head, I met him when I was 15. He was a lot older than me, but I met him young. But he actually used to play for Liverpool Football Club, and he went to America to play football with Stevie Wynn.
Yeah.
Who's a relative, Stevie Wynn.
Well, my dad's got Phil Wynn.
Yeah.
My auntie Susie's ass, Susan Wynn, Paul Wynn, there's Franny Wynn.
Yeah, but the Wynn from Cape, they are associated with the Wynns I know as well in South End, the same family.
South End. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So anyway, that's another side of the story, but it is all connected, to be honest. The Wynns were Stevie Wynn was Stevie Cole's mate.
He moved me down here in 84 to get me away from all the shit. Well, I mean, Mars are 50 as well, so.
You look like Peter Wynn a bit, actually.
Hey?
You look like Peter.
Do I?
I've got a brother called Peter, Christian. Now he went to jail for murder 14 years ago, and he come out and then he worked for my company, and then that's another story. It's a long story. I'm going off track a little bit here, but
No,
if I get to that, I'll go emphasise on it.
Nice to know, you know.
You do look like the Wynns I know, definitely.
I don't know much about that family because it's sort of been kept from me. I know my immediate family, my aunts and uncles and all that, but I've only ever met the big family dues and all that, and I've only been to a couple of them from Kirby,
Right, yeah.
you know.
Okay, great.
So, I've been kept
Well,
away
will
for a
they?
reason.
So, going back to our experience in Spain, we're all in Spain, all trembling, all started to believe that my mate Chile, his dad, Ronaldo, and his brother had come back in the grave to speak to us. But they weren't coming to, haunt us. They were coming to speak to us. So, I started wondering, why did they come to speak to us? I'm thinking, they're coming to speak to me. They want me to stick by Chile, because he stuck by me. He's been a big brother to me, and whenever I've gone into trouble, he's backed me up. So now it's time for me to back him up, and they're coming to speak to me. So the next day, we goes out, and we thought, we're not going back to that house till the morning, because we're terrified of the ghosts. So we decided to stay out all night. No, this is the second night without sleep now. And we never drank or nothing like that, but we were just so tired we ended up coming back about 3 o'clock in the morning. As we're coming back, I'm sort of praying, I'm praying to the dad and the brother, saying, I know why you've come, don't worry, Don't worry, I'm going to stick by you. You don't have to come again and visit us. I'm going to stick by you. And then I started to believe that the reason why he's come, because they want to live in me, they have the spirits and they need a body to live in. So I said to them, come and live in me then, come inside me. So I invited the spirit of my Chili's dad and brother to come in me. And I became another person instantly. I began to devise a plan how to kill the 3 attackers and get away with it. And believe me, it was not me. Something happened that night. When I asked them spirits to come in, I started to devise a plan. And as I devised the plan, right, a vision of Jesus Christ appeared in the wardrobe, in the room. And the next day, I stayed awake all night. The next day, Chili got up and I told him, he said to me, oh, by the way, when we get back to Liverpool, my mum said you can wear on those clothes. Well, she had all the designer clothes. He had all designer clothes. He was a bit of a gangster, but quite a big name gangster, Ronaldo. No one in the whole Liverpool could fight him. And but he was also a bit of a, he was a really hard case, and everyone was scared of him. I didn't really know him well because I was in London during that time when he came up in the ranks. But he died in a car accident, and his mum had been going to spiritualists. This is the bit on Isaiah 47. His mum, I didn't know this, but my mate Chili had said, my mum's a witch. Because I said to Chili, when I get back to Liverpool, I'm moving into your mum's house. Because I had a spirit in me telling me to move into the house and wear Ronaldo's old clothes. Because I saw, but I believed at the time that Jesus came and met me in the wardrobe. And because of my school teacher when I was a kid told me about Jesus, I believed in Jesus. And when I saw it in the wardrobe, I was convinced God had sent Chili's dad and his dad and brother to come and live in me. And it was God's plan. This is God's plan now. So this is all God's intention, God's purpose for me and Chili to take revenge and to take these lads off the street, because no one else could take them off the street, not even the police. And they were going around intimidating witnesses when they do damage to people. So I felt this is God's plan and His justice to go to kidnap them and kill them and bury them, and that was the plan. And so no evidence would be found for that. And so we then come back from Spain, and as I remember walking to the airport, and I felt like I was levitating on the floor. I felt like I had this supernatural power in me. As I was walking, I was floating. I was so light, like a balloon. I was lifting off the floor as I was walking. I had this spiritual power in me. And it was all there. I was talking to Chili like his dad. I was telling him the plan. I was speaking out. It wasn't me speaking. Right? So, anyway, I moved back into his mum's house, and I said to his mum, I'm moving into the house, and Chili's mum said, you can sleep in Ronaldo's room with all the designer clothes, the wardrobe, only a wardrobe with all the thing. And it was the vision I saw in Spain. It was God's plan. So I'm telling her, she wants to know the ins and outs, what happened. She's even telling me, when you kidnap them, bury them, make sure you dig the grave deep enough. Because if you don't, they'll find the evidence if you do a shallow grave. So this is the sort of things she was saying to me. When she'd lost her husband and she'd lost her son, Isaiah 47, right? I did, and Chili said, you've got some bottle moving in there, my mum's a witch. So, didn't know what he meant by that, but all I knew is that I had a house, I had my own house, and I was terrified of going back in that house by myself. And I felt the spirit in me saying, you've got to move in to this house. And I've got to walk around the streets of Kirby with Ronaldo clothes on. I'm going to take out all the people that hated him. And then we're going to kill 3 people. on the way. But then it also got, the devil also showed me, and I didn't know it was the devil at the time, I thought it was God. God showed, I thought because it was God, showed me. He said, all of the drugs empire in Liverpool, you're going to be promoted, you're going to take over, and what I want you to do is collect the money for all these drug deals that you're connected to, and to kill these people, and then you'll be promoted. And it's exactly what the devil tempted Jesus with. He said, he took him up to the high point, and he showed him all the kingdom of the world, and he said, bow down to me, and I'll give you all these kingdoms. And it's a bit like what happened to me. I had this thing over there to go and kill people before, this is my present, I'm going to be rewarded. Because I always had it in me to be a businessman, and I had seen all these people around me making millions, and Curtis Warren and all that.
Yeah.
And basically, we were being set up. We were being set up to be a big part of that.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm in the house, and I start, all of a sudden, a scripture comes to me out of the Bible. And it's in 2 Corinthians 11, verse 14. And it talks about the devil masquerading around as an angel of light. And the teacher at school when I was 7 preached to the kids about it. But he didn't just preach, he drew a picture of Jesus. And he says, Jesus, and he said, the devil doesn't come with horns on his head, he comes as Jesus.
Yeah, angel of light.
And that came to me, what he preached when I was 7. That just happened, what he preached. So I knew, all of a sudden, the vision I saw of Jesus was not Jesus, it was the devil. Only for the fact that my school teacher sowed the seed, the word of God, into my heart when I was 7 years of age. And that came back to me 20 years later. 20 years later, came back to me. So I began to tremble as this truth, this revelation of the truth came to me. I began to tremble, and my mate's mother said to me, Darren, you're okay? Because she's still talking to me. She said, what do you mean? She said, you're shaking. Do you want to go through with this? You still want to go through with this? I said, go through with what? She said, it's like the omen. So I didn't know. So when she said it, the omen's connected to the devil. Right, so I swore loyalty with my mate, Tilly. I also swore loyalty with his dead dad, who I prayed to, and said, I swear I'll stick by him. Right? So I'm in a trap now. I'm in what you call the devil's trap, because I'm set up by the devil. Right? There's no way out for me. I've got an enemies that we're going to kill. If I desert my mate, he'll become my enemy. And then I've got this spiritual enemy, which I believed it was his dad and his brother, telling me I'll haunt you if you don't stick by him. So I'm stuck. But I started to realise that there was a God and he was a devil. So that was I realised God was real at this point and the devil was real. I knew it was all real at this point. But I couldn't back down. I didn't want to go through it, but I was stuck. I had to go through. So when his mum said, do you want to go through with this? I didn't understand what she meant. I went into the bedroom, and the bedroom was like walking into a fridge. It was August 1994, so it shouldn't have been cold, but the room was freezing. It was quite warm outside, but the room was freezing. Now, I think that's a real indication of a spiritual presence, demonic presence in the room. And I go to bed, it was 12 o'clock. I hadn't had sleep this is my 3rd night without sleep. Going into my 3rd night now. And I am tired. And I didn't know how to... I started to enter a spiritual battle, but I didn't know how to overcome it. I didn't know how to... I was overwhelmed. I was already possessed by spirits that I was invited in. And these spirits were imitating my mate's dad and brother, they weren't really there. But I still believe that them spirits were their spirits. But what had happened, I forgot to tell you, when I was in the kitchen downstairs, my mate's mother said, we could hear footsteps upstairs in the bedroom that we were going into, and my mate's mother said, can you hear our Ronaldo upstairs? That's our Ronaldo. Wow. He lives in that room. Wow. But I'm thinking, Ronaldo's inside me, what's he doing upstairs? So I started to think, what's something going on here? That's when I started to realise that it's, you know, I'm in a battle here. This is not real. This is a big setup. So I goes into the bedroom. I'm in the bedroom and I'm seeing the wardrobe, and I can see that I'm looking at the lampshade and I can see the devil's face coming out of the lampshade. And it was like he was talking to me, and I was having to submit, and there's more demons coming in. And I was set up to be possessed by a multitude of demons. Right, and basically I didn't understand it, but I realised the only way out for me was God. And I went through so much. I went to hell that night. The Bible said.
Is it off?
No.
Oh.
Hello?
It's off.
That's scary. I was that scared that my teeth were gnashing with fear that night. I didn't know that Jesus said in hell there'd be gnashing of teeth. So I went through torment that night. In hell there'd be torment. I was being tormented by a multitude of demons, be possessed. And basically, I had a flashback. I called on God in my distress. I called on the Lord. Psalm 18 says, in my distress I called on the Lord is my strength. And if you read Psalm 18, that's my story, right? I'll tell you that later. But I basically called on the Lord because I realised he existed. You can't call on him if you don't really believe he exists. But if you've got faith to call on, right? If you know God exists, when you call on, he answers a prayer of faith. So when I called on him, he took me back to the time when I was 7, and he took me back, flashback in my life, and he showed me all the wrong things I'd done, and all the rebellion, and all the sins, and the reason why I'm in this position now is because I turned me back on him, and I called on him. I said, Lord, please forgive me, I'm sorry. And you know what, he then showed me the vicar in London. I need to see the vicar. I need him to come pray for me. I need an exorcism. So I fled at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, if I go out the front door, my mate's mum will hear me, and he'll ring my mate, and he'll come round and go, well, what's happening? What's going on? We're planning on killing people the next day. You know what I mean? And I'm fleeing the situation, so I thought, I've got to go out the back door. And I thought, I'm in the back garden, no one will hear me. And I started jumping over the fences like Red Rum. And I was running away from the ghost. I was jumping on myself, leaping all over the fences. And I ran round the block, and I went to my mate's house. And my 2 mates used to go to wrestling, 2 Iraqis, they were Iraqi from Iraq. And they came in, Darren, what's wrong? My face was white. And they thought, who's after you? They didn't realise, I'm running away from the ghost. They thought there was 20 people running after me. He said, come in. So we went in the house, and he went, shh, Mum and Dad are in bed, come up to our bedroom. What's the matter, tell us. So I told them the story. And as I was telling the story, they began to get scared, because they seen the fear in my face. And I said, don't get scared, just turn the light on. The ghosts don't like light. They put the light on, the lecky blue. No. They went, Darren, where do you want? We'll take you anywhere. We will take you anywhere. Where do you want to go? And he gave me a lift. I haven't seen him since. Every time I've tried to contact him, he's running a mile away. Honestly, I've tried to reach out to him. In fact, our Tasha got a lift off one of them in a taxi one day. And remember you told me, remember the taxi driver, one of them, he's the brother of one of them. So anyway, these two lads witnessed something supernatural happening. And they didn't know me as this weak person running away from 2020. They thought I was running away from someone, I'd run away from God, but they got terrified. They seen something supernatural happen, right? And that scared them. But they were my taxi. They were my taxi. Now, when I split up, and my dad had no one to mind us. When my dad split up and my dad had no one to mind, my auntie used to mind us. And my auntie used to say, your mum's a witch. I said, what do you mean? She's a witch. She said, she called you Darren and my sister Samantha after the programme Bewitched. And I said, why did you say that? She said, she did. She told you Darren, because you were born, she used to love that programme. She called you Darren, Samantha. So I'm thinking now, Tilly's mum's a witch, my mum's a good witch. I'll get a lift to my mum. And I'd left my suitcase, I'd left my money, I needed to see a vicar, but I hadn't had to sleep for 3 nights. And I landed at my mum's at 6 o'clock in the morning, and mum said, what are you doing? She said, Mum, I need help, I need to see a vicar. What do you mean? I said, no you don't. I said, no you don't, she said, you need to go to the police. I said, go to the police. Mum, I need a vicar. She said, no, you need a psychiatrist. I said, Mum, I need a vicar. I knew I needed a spiritual. She's thinking, you need to go to the police because what you're doing is not right and you need a psychiatrist. You've lost the plot. Right. That's what she was saying to me. Right, so, but I never ever listened to my mum. Ever. As a kid, from a kid, what does the Bible say about honouring your mum and dad? Listen to your parents. They're your guide. They guide you in life. Don't listen to them. You know. So I'm 27 and I've got my mum saying, "Go to the police. You need a psychiatrist. You don't need a vicar." But I needed a vicar. I'd met God. I was calling out to God and I was looking for prayer. And this vicar I knew from old is the link that I need to see. And I said, Mum, please just give me the money and I'll get the train to go and see the vicar. No, I'm not giving you any money. Where do you want to go? And I said, so give me a lift home. She gave me a lift home. The minute I walked into my house, I realised everything in my house was dodgy. Stolen goods, electric was on the fiddle. There was nothing in my life that was genuine, right? And I'd said sorry to God for all the wrong things I'd done. So God was showing me. Next minute, knock on the door. There was my mate, Chilly. Knock on the door, close the door. He's got a gun. He's coming after me. That's it. He's coming after me now. My mate, he's coming after me. But he had a key to come in. We were like brothers. I gave him a key. But he never had a key. So he went away. I'm thinking, that's it. We're supposed to be out going, he's coming there. And I'm running away from it now. Because it's not the fact of running away from him, it was the power of the devil I was running away from. Because God revealed to me that I was being set up by the devil. It was all the devil's plan. But God was in control. So basically, I ran around the phone box and I phoned the police and said, you better hurry up. You better hurry up and get around here, someone's trying to kill me. And then, so they came within 2 minutes. Honestly, they came in, they said, what's the matter? And I said, right, here's the plan. I'm going to stay in here tonight. I haven't had sleep for 4 days. My mate's dad, who's dead, was coming to get me tonight. And you've got to stay outside, because if my mate decides to come and kill me, you can be out there and arrest him, but I'm inside here. And when his dad comes and his brother who are dead, I'll be here. He's looking at me saying, he's lost the plot. He's totally lost the plot. So they started to say, no, we don't want to know, mate. They're wasting our time. So they started going. I said, look at this, don't go. Look at that's stolen. This and that. That's stolen. You're listening to that's stolen. And he started going like that, and he went, he's definitely lost the plot. I said, do you know the fella that got shot down the road the other day? This is what it's all about. Oh, was it? No, yeah, come with us, mate. They took me into the police station. Like, this is the Holy Spirit's way of getting me to say, if you're sorry, confess your sins. Go and tell the police everything that you were doing. So I told the police I'm conspiring to kill 2 people. This is the plan, and this is because of that. The CID interviewed me over the other incident,